Hey guys, I was gonna go ahead and make a batch of Dad's soup today. I made a batch last week. It turned out so daggone good. It only lasted about 2 days. But talking to my daughter, she didn't know Dad's recipe, so I'm gonna go ahead and just put this out. Everybody likes to look back in the days when they could talk to their dad. I wish I could talk to mine, but anyway, I'm gonna put this here. I'm going to make this video that will forevermore be on YouTube, so if anybody after I'm gone wants to watch me make the soup, this is Dad's recipe. Now I'm going to probably use a little better meat than Dad ever used, but Dad's been gone for 30 years now. We're sitting here at February 18th, 2018. So anyway, the ingredients would be, for this batch, and this is really for my personal preferences, 3-pound roast. This today was a rump roast that I happened to catch on sale. I guess it was a day or so before. I usually take it has to be like 3 pounds, chuck roast or a rump roast. We'll take this roast and we're going to brown that meat. But anyway, here's the ingredients. So we'll go with 3 pounds of the roast beef. I go with about 6 medium-sized carrots. I usually don't use more than 3 potatoes. Maybe a whole onion, possibly only half. 2 large cans of whole tomatoes in the can. 1 small can of tomato paste. And then it would be vegetables. Now, the frozen vegetables are really starting to become very expensive, so I just wouldn't go ahead and go with Del Monte except for lima beans. I have to go and pay the extra money and find the lima beans in the frozen food section. So anyway, I would be going with the corn, green beans, sweet peas, and there will be some frozen lima beans added to the end. Now I'll try and do this as a time thing. Again, I'm going to ground the beef. After the beef is browned, I'll throw in the tomatoes and the tomato paste. They will probably simmer for 2 or 3 hours. Okay. Try not to trim all of the fat off of the roast. Leave a little bit. We'll go ahead and do this. It's going to probably take me about three little batches to do all the meat. Alright, that'd be number 2. And then I usually will take 1 or 2 of these larger pieces of fat. I go ahead and I throw that in there because we're going to want the beef stock. So I won't use all of that fat. I'll just use 2 of these larger pieces. Just want to get a brown on it. That way we don't lose every bit of the juice in the stew. This is going to be about a 6-hour. This will be about a 6-hour cook on this stew. Or not stew, soup. Soup, not stew. Okay, so that would be the 3rd. Just all of the meat has been browned. Now brown. I gotta turn this stove down. All right, now we're going to go ahead and get some. We're going to go with the tomatoes. That'll be our first vegetable. Then we go ahead and we add the 2 cans of the tomatoes. So we're going to go with the tomatoes, and we're going to open the tomato paste. And then we'll add the beef. So we got the tomatoes and the paste, and here's all the beef. That is going to go in for about a 4-hour simmer. So anyway, I forgot to cut the tomatoes up. I will, at a later time, go in here with a knife and cut those whole tomatoes up just so that they will fall apart. I'm sure that they will anyway. And then we add a 1/2 can of the water. That'll be boiled off by the time the hours go by. It's been just about an hour. I'll go ahead and just take a little look. Yeah, those tomatoes, they'll fall apart. It's been about 45 minutes. Alright, it's been 1 hour. Diced up potatoes. Try to best keep them all the so size if possible. Then you can get an even cook. And then I'm going to dice up the carrots. Carrots and the potatoes take the longest, so they're going to get about 2 hours just for themselves. So we'll do these will go for about 2 hours. On that same simmer. We're sitting there with the simmer on the stove. In fact, I'm gonna probably, as soon as I start to see a simmer again, I will turn that down 1 more notch and go to 3. Then I add in the onion 1/2 an hour after the potatoes and carrot. I cut mine coarse. Those onions will really be nothing by the time the batch is done. You won't hardly see the onion. So we've been on about 1.5 hours. I was calling it 5 o'clock. All right, I forgot to mention earlier, about a 1/2 tablespoon, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. You know, acid reducer. You watch when you put it in, you can actually watch it foam up just like it was, just like a science project. So you go ahead and put a little bit of the, see, look at that. Go ahead and get that, let that break that acid into a gas. This will be gone in just a moment. But yeah, that's a lot of people use sugar to do away with some of that acid. That's what my dad, I believe, he used a little bit of sugar, but I used just a tiny bit of baking soda. So it's been 3 hours. We'll go ahead and just add our vegetables. Like I said, I just bought the canned stuff. I can't afford all of these vegetables frozen. Were about $2 a pound. I take this stuff here like 68 cents a can, and $2 for the pound of lima beans. So, which is basically we'll do a slow stir here. Put the whole pound in there and then now, just to keep from tearing it up, I just pretty much just push it under. We still got a couple of hours to go, so for right now I just want to get it in without overflowing, because you can see we are right at the very edge. You go in from the bottom. Over to the middle. Keep going over from the middle. And you get the idea. So, a couple more in there. But that's pretty much it. So, we'll come back in a while. And it's been 5.5 hours. 5.5 hours, and I'm going to go ahead and call it done. Here's your... It'll sit here on the stove for another 2 or 3 hours, so heck, it'll really continue cooking for that same period of time, just as it's cooling down. But don't forget to add your salt and pepper. Add it to taste. There's that piece of fat, so I'll be getting rid of that. But anyway, this is what I call Dad's soup. Don't forget the saltines or the rips. They both go well with it. It's a must-have in my house. The saltines is a must-have with Dad's soup. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I hope that you enjoy this soup.